So compensation principle है ना. Any doubt in the last class? So write the next point. Next point is your exempted items. So under GST, there are certain items. Under GST, there are certain items which are exempted from the ambit of GST, such as, yes, anyone? What are the items excluded under GST? So first we write alcohol for human consumption. Then you write comma petroleum products. And electricity. Light off करनी पड़ेगी. ठीक है. So there are 3 items. Alcohol for human consumption. It means alcohol for medicinal purposes under the ambit of GST. So only for human consumption. ठीक है. Other electricity and petroleum products. Can you tell me any reason why these goods are exempted from GST?
Actually, these goods should have major part of the revenue that goes to state, like around 35 to 40%. So they were not very sure if they should include them in GST because it may reduce their revenue.
That is the main concern of the states. So states were reluctant to pass that GST bill, so central government gave certain kind of exemptions. So whenever the question comes about reforms of goods and services tax, so you can write that as soon as possible government should include these 3 items under the ambit of GST. Because whenever you will think about petroleum, electricity, these are inputs, vital inputs. And whenever you are talking about cascading effect, so if you are taking electricity is a vital thing. If you are running any business, electricity plays an important role. So whenever you will see about electricity, second thing is transportation. Obviously transportation is also plays very important role in the business and in the transaction of goods and services. So whenever you are not taking petroleum into the ambit of GST, there is another problem of cascading effect, because petroleum and these products were attracting old form of indirect taxes like excise duty. ठीक है. Because this is the main revenue source for the state government. So states were reluctant. They were saying that if you include these items under GST, then there is a problem in our resources of revenue. ठीक है. Otherwise central government has to compensate few more amount of money every year if these items were included into GST. ठीक है. Next point, rate structure under GST. So you write rate structure under GST. So how many rates are there?
So 5.
5. How?
0 to 5.
0 is the exempted category. So 5%, 12%, 18% and 28%. So there is one exempted category which is known as 0%. These 2 rates are known as standard rate, because whenever we think about ideal GST, like we always talk about that India has a unique form of GST. So we have to move towards one single rate in future. That is the desire of the government, and that is what we call the reform in GST. So we have to move towards single rate. So that is why these 2 rates are known as standard rate of GST. And these two standard rates, why? Because most of the commodities comes under these two rates. Okay, so we write these are the four types of rates under GST. So 5%, 12%, 18% and 28%. Written. Next line. There are certain goods which are exempted under GST. There are certain goods exempted under GST, rated as 0% GST against it. Rated as 0% GST against it. Full stop. Next line. 12% and 18%. 12% and 18% are the standard rates. Are the standard rates of GST. Next line. Do you know that generally government imposes more than 28%? It means 28% plus cess. Do you know the difference between cess and surcharge? What's the meaning? Yes, in the last class, in the last class maybe, in the introductory class of the text, I discussed difference between cess and surcharge. Why we are not imposing surcharge over and above 28%? Why we are imposing cess?
So cess is
A specific purpose. Here what is the purpose? Compensation. So here we cannot impose surcharge. Okay. A surcharge, actually the revenue of the surcharge goes directly to the central government. There is no sharing. Getting my point? That is why states are also against imposition of surcharge. Because whenever central government imposes surcharge, revenue will go to center. And it depends on the center that it will share or not. Getting my point? So 28% plus cess is for sin goods. Sin goods, luxury goods, white goods. So white goods like air conditioner, fridge, refrigerator, what we call. And these are called white goods. So you write next point. There is a concept of GST over and above 28%, over and above 28%, especially to discourage the consumption of, sin goods, luxury goods, white goods, etc. In bracket you can write white goods के आगे you can write air conditioner, refrigerators. ठीक है. So just to discourage the consumption. Yes, this is the key point. If someone asks why we are having 28% or more than that GST on certain items, it's just only one reason, that in order to discourage the consumption of these particular goods, we have to impose cess. So from the collection of that cess, central government will compensate to the loss of revenue to the state government. Okay, concept is clear. Next point.
So, in the disaster that was happening in Kerala, in the currently news days that the Kerala Finance Ministry is trying to impose some cess to
fund that. I'll explain. In criticism, how India's GST is imperfect. Next topic is that. We'll discuss what are the points that should not be into GST. This is also one. When you have abolished cess and surcharge, then how can you impose? There are certain criticisms we will discuss in today's class. Like Haryana, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu was trying to impose another tax. Like in Maharashtra, they were trying to impose road tax on motor vehicle, 2%. In Tamil Nadu, entertainment tax of 30%. In Madhya Pradesh, there is overall strike of these PVR and cinema halls. Overall strike is going on just because of the over and above entertainment tax. And in Tamil Nadu, entertainment tax was imposed at 30%. So how can it be possible when you have one indirect tax? So these are the imperfections. Well, right, don't worry. Okay. Next point is exempted category. So you write, this is some simple factual point. So you write, if an assessee, do you know who is assessee? Assessee means who pays the tax. Okay, so if I will pay the income tax, so I'll be the assessee. Okay. क्या बोला मैंने? If an assessee has a turnover less than 20 lakh rupees, are exempted under GST. Getting my point? And in case of northeastern states, this limit is rupees 10 lakh. ठीक है, full stop. Simple point, nothing, no need to explain this. It means if your turnover is less than 20 lakh rupees a year, then you are exempted from GST. Do you know the turnover? What's the meaning of turnover? नहीं पता? If you don't know, you should ask me. Otherwise, I'll assume that you know. What's the meaning of turnover? Is total sales. Total revenue, total sales, whatever the amount you will earn is called your turnover. Getting my point? It is different from profit. Do you know the difference between profit, revenue, cost? पता है? नहीं पता तो I'll explain in a minute. बताओ ना? Suppose, for example, I've invested 1,000 rupees in a company. First year, I will earn 500 rupees. Second year, I will earn 300 rupees. Third year, I will earn 400 rupees. Getting my point? So first year, my turnover is 500. Or whatever the price multiplied by the units. Suppose this is the final price. So this is your turnover. If we talk about revenue, this is your cost. So profit will come whenever you will deduct cost from your revenue. First year you will earn 500, but your cost is 1,000 rupees. So your profit is nothing, loss of 500. Next year cost remains same maybe because it is a fixed cost. 800 minus 200. Next year if the fixed cost is same, then obviously over and above you will earn some amount. So plus 200 is your profit. So whenever from the total revenue you will deduct cost, it is called profit. Or from the day one, if 1 rupee come to your company, that is what we call revenue. And total sales is your turnover. ठीक है, so these Uber Eats, Zomato, they are trying to increase their sales. उनको क्या फ़ायदा 50% डिस्काउंट में सेल करने से? क्या फ़ायदा आप बताएं? People are mad. Why they are delivering at home at 50%? क्या फ़ायदा उनको? Because these are foreign companies and they just want the sales. Because in economics there is one model, sales maximization model. If you increase your sales, in the long term you will earn profit. Yeah.
The government talks about empowering the northeastern states. Then why is the turnover?
Why is the turnover is less? Because in northeastern state there are less sources of revenue. So people are, if a company is earning 10 lakh rupees, it means it is a big company. If their turnover is 11 lakh rupees, it means it is a big company in northeastern region. So they will come under GST. It means to earn 11 lakh rupees, to post the turnover of 11 lakh rupees, it is very difficult in northeastern state. Getting my point?
Can this also come under the criticism of GST?
No, why? This is a simple point. Because in northeastern state, it is very difficult to post the turnover of 10 lakh rupees. So that is why this limit is 10 lakh rupees. If you compare the standard of living and the prices in Delhi and northeastern state, obviously it is a very, very different. If you think about government service, if you move from tier 2 city to tier 1 city, your salary goes up just because of the cost of living. That's the same logic behind this.
For example, you have taken a fixed cost is 1,000 rupees, and every year the earning is different. So turnover, how could we post a profit of 200 rupees if the earning is only 400 and the cost is...
No, not 400, total earning. Here, your earning is 500. Short में समझा दिया मैंने आपको. This is 500 plus 800. This is 1200. Now you can see this. You are accumulating profit. This particular is your income. Again, your income added next year 300. Total income is 800. But your cost is 1000. Again, next year, if you earn 400, it means total earning is now goes to 1200. Your cost was 1000 rupees. Suppose you made a mobile application, you are running a course, etc., etc. This is the cost of maintaining a mobile application. Getting my point? Suppose first month you will earn 500, then next month 300. So in the third month you will earn profit of 200 rupees because you have invested 1000 rupees on the third month. So first 2 months will be called gestation period, if you remember the concept of gestation period. So the difference between the first point of investment and first profit. ठीक है, ये लिख लिया, ठीक है. Now there are certain concepts of administrative control of center and the states under GST. So if a turnover of a company is less than 1.5 crore, less than 1.5 crore and more than 1.5 crore. So if it is less than 1.5 crore, the administrative division between center and the state is in the ratio of 10:90. It means the total number of assessee means here companies. If a company, suppose there are maybe 200 companies, the turnover is less than 1.5 crore. Getting my point? So their administrative control is 90% of the states and 10% of the center. It means this 180 companies state will administer, these 20 companies center will administer. Getting my point? Nothing. Administrative control. It means who will take care of these particular companies, who will impose tax, etc. Who will see that they are paying or not. So if your company is posting turnover less than 1.5 crore, getting my point? This is the ratio of center and state about administrative control. Getting my point? If a company is earning 1.5 crore or more, then this particular ratio becomes 50-50. Getting my point? So what do you think? Most of the companies comes under first category or second category? First category. Because we have small companies as well. So number of companies are more here. Getting my point? So लिख लेते हैं. If an assessee with the turnover of less than 1.5 crore, turnover of having less than 1.5 crore, then the administrative control between states and center, is in the ratio of 90:10. Is in the ratio of 90:10. Next point. If an assessee having turnover more than 1.5 crore, having turnover more than 1.5 crore, then this ratio becomes 50-50. ठीक है, done. Any doubt in this point? Simple factual point. Now, do you know territorial waters? Have you ever heard about territorial waters?
12 nautical miles from the
So up to 12 nautical miles from the coastline, it is the waters of our country. It means we can extract natural resources, we can navigate freely. So up to 12 nautical miles, this is the Indian waters. So under GST, states have authority to impose GST or to collect GST on the activities happening in territorial waters. Getting my point? सही लिख लेते हैं. Under GST, states will impose taxes on territorial waters. That is up to 12 nautical miles. From the coastline. 12 nautical miles from the coastline. Okay.